ਸਾਊਥ ਏਸ਼ੀਅਨ ਵਿਜ਼ਨ ਟੀਵੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਵਤਾਰ ਸੂਰ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਆਪ ਸਭ ਦਾ ਹਾਰਦਿਕ ਸਵਾਗਤ ਹੈ। ਉਮੀਦ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸਾਡੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਪਸੰਦ ਆ ਰਹੇ ਹੋਣਗੇ। ਆਪਣੀ ਫੀਡਬੈਕ ਦੇਣਾ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਨਾ ਭੁੱਲਿਆ ਕਰੋ ਸਾਡੇ ਈਮੇਲ ਜਾਂ ਫੋਨ ਤੇ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਉਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗ ਸਕਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਦੇਖਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹੋ ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਪਸੰਦ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਤੱਕ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਈਏ। ਸਾਡੀ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਇਹੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਲੋਕਲ ਈਵੈਂਟ ਅਤੇ ਲੋਕਲ ਇਸ਼ੂ ਨੂੰ ਹੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਤੱਕ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਈਏ ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਅਵੇਅਰ ਹੋ ਸਕੋ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਲੇ ਦੁਆਲੇ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ। ਇਸੇ ਸੰਬੰਧ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਿਛਲੇ ਦਿਨੀ ਮਲੋਕ ਲਾ ਆਫਿਸ ਦੇ ਵਿਪਨ ਮਲੋਕ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਇੱਕ ਸੈਮੀਨਾਰ ਕਰਵਾਇਆ ਸੀ, ਸਟੂਡੈਂਟ ਸਕਸੈਸ ਸੈਮੀਨਾਰ, ਜਿਸ ਨੂੰ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਤੱਕ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਵਾਂਗੇ। ਸਾਨੂੰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਮੌਕਾ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਇਸ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਨੂੰ ਰਿਕਾਰਡ ਕਰਨ ਦਾ ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਤੱਕ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਈਏ ਕਿ ਉਸ ਸੈਮੀਨਾਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੀ ਕੁਝ ਡਿਸਕਸ ਹੋਇਆ ਅਤੇ ਕਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਕੂਲ ਦੀ ਅਤੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਨੂੰ ਰਿਜ਼ੋਲਵ ਕਰਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਪਣਾ ਯੋਗਦਾਨ ਪਾ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਬੁਲਿੰਗ ਇੱਕ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡੀ ਸਮੱਸਿਆ ਹੈ ਸਾਡੇ ਸਕੂਲਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਤੇ ਸਾਡੀ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੱਕ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਸਮੱਸਿਆ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਸਾਡੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਘਰ ਆ ਕੇ ਦੱਸਦੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਹਨ ਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਕੁਲੀਗਸ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਕਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦਾ ਬਿਹੇਵੀਅਰ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਨ, ਅਤੇ ਜੇ ਉਹ ਦੱਸਦੇ ਹਨ ਤਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਐਜ਼ ਏ ਪੇਰੈਂਟਸ ਉਸ ਨੂੰ ਸੁਣਨਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਜਾਂ ਇਗਨੋਰ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਡਿਫਰੈਂਟ ਕਲਚਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਆਏ ਹਾਂ ਅਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਹੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਖਰਾ ਬੱਚਾ ਜਾਣਬੁੱਝ ਕੇ ਇਹ ਸ਼ਿਕਾਇਤ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ ਜਾਂ ਸਕੂਲ ਨਾ ਜਾਣ ਦਾ ਇੱਕ ਬਹਾਨਾ ਬਣਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ। ਬਟ ਇਹ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ। ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਸਾਨੂੰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਸਮੱਸਿਆਵਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸੁਣਨਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਹੈ ਅਤੇ ਹੱਲ ਲੱਭਣ ਦੀ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕਰਨੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਹੈ। ਇਸੇ ਸੰਬੰਧ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕਿ ਸੈਮੀਨਾਰ ਮਲੋਕ ਲਾ ਆਫਿਸ ਨੇ ਕਰਵਾਇਆ ਸੀ, ਉਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਟੂਡੈਂਟਸ ਨੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮਸ ਅਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਸੋਲੂਸ਼ਨ ਦੱਸਣ ਦੀ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ, ਪਰ ਉਹ ਇੰਪਲੀਮੈਂਟ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਹੋਣਗੇ ਇਹ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡਾ ਇੱਕ ਕੁਐਸਚਨ ਹੈ। ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਸੈਮੀਨਾਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਪੂਰੇ ਦਾ ਪੂਰਾ ਦਿਖਾਵਾਂਗੇ 2 ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, 2 ਕਿਸ਼ਤਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ। ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਟੂਡੈਂਟਸ ਆਪਣੇ ਸਮੱਸਿਆਵਾਂ ਤੇ ਇਸ਼ੂਜ਼ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆ ਰਹੇ ਹਨ ਅਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਸਮੱਸਿਆਵਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਹੱਲ ਵੀ ਦੱਸੇ ਹੋਏ ਹਨ, ਅਤੇ ਬਾਕੀ ਦੇ ਹਿੱਸੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜੋ ਕਿ ਅਗਲੇ ਹਫ਼ਤੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਦਿਖਾਵਾਂਗੇ ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਟੂਡੈਂਟ, ਪ੍ਰਿੰਸੀਪਲਸ, ਕੁਝ ਕਾਉਂਸਲਰ ਅਤੇ ਸੋਸ਼ਲ ਵਰਕਰਾਂ ਨੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਇਸੇ ਸਮੱਸਿਆ ਨੂੰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਹਿਸਾਬ ਨਾਲ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਤੱਕ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਂਦਾ ਹੈ ਅਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਸੋਲੂਸ਼ਨ ਵੀ ਦੱਸੇ ਹਨ। ਲਓ ਪੇਸ਼ ਹੈ ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸੈਮੀਨਾਰ ਦਾ ਪਹਿਲਾ ਹਿੱਸਾ, ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਅਸੀਂ ਵਾਪਸ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ।
I'm a solar broker. I work in the solar industry. I'm a honors bachelor of science graduate from the University of Toronto. Can you guys hear me? From the University of Toronto with a double major in chemistry and biology. I plan to shine my light, no pun intended, in the solar industry. And I aspire to see a world where energy is free and abundant. Imagine that. No wars, no more fighting for resources. And live in perfect harmony with our environment. No more fossil fuels, no more degradation of our planet. And hopefully aspire to go into outer space. So with that, I'd like to introduce our first speaker, Hargurdeep Singh. He's a student of Sheridan College and he'll introduce himself.
Okay, I'm a student at Sheridan College. My major is in mechanical engineering, design and drafting technology program. My interest lies in additive manufacturing, also known as direct digital manufacturing. It's a new phenomenon that's out there, commonly known as 3D printing, where we're producing parts directly from what we design on the computer to having it manufactured using the technical machines that are now coming out of the market. I was a recipient of Education at Work Ontario 2011 student. This was an award that recognizes a student based on their co-op contribution, academics, and their community involvement. I picked 6 major challenges that students face in today's educational institutes, whether it's college or university. The main one is their transition, when they're transitioning from high school to these institutes. I'll elaborate on all of them as the presentation goes on. The second one is academics. They face challenges with their academics. They face challenges with finance. Then they have problems dealing with relationships and life on campus when they're living on residence. And finally, home and family. So I'll break each and every single one of them down, and hopefully at the end of the presentation I'm able to give you a solution to all these problems, whether it can eliminate them or minimize them. Okay, the first one is transition. Um, they deal with stress soon as, even when they're applying for colleges and universities. So right from the moment when they have to pick which courses they're going for, which major they want to pick, students face a lot of these challenges right at the transition moment. They're also unsure about what is independency and what is dependency. Second part is obviously academics. Like I said, students, they have a tough time selecting which area they want to go into. There's a variety of options now available to students in which major they want to really pursue their career. But if we know the statistics of universities prove that within first year, 1/3 of the students drop out. And that is a huge, huge number. And that's something that needs to be controlled from a very early stage, even before students enter to college or university. Financial is a major one. This leads to a lot of student problems. I mean, OSAP is available. There are grants and bursaries available, but most of the time students are not familiar with what kind of grants are available to them. So they need to be aware of this, that when they do go into universities or colleges, that not only scholarships is something that they should be applying for, they should also be applying for bursaries, which are going towards waste because no one's really applying for them. There's a huge pot of them that's sitting there for students to come apply for it, but unfortunately, due to the lack of knowledge, students are not aware that these bursaries do exist. So financials are a major problem. Relationships, by relationships I mean, we all grew up in the same neighborhood. You might develop a really strong friendship, and when you're applying for institutes, your friends might not get into the same program that you're applying for, or the same universities per se, or same colleges. So they have to break these bonds at times because it's really difficult for them to carry on these relationships. So they face a lot of new challenges where they have to develop these new relationships at whatever institute that they're going to. So that's one of the challenges that they're facing right now. Also, life on campus, again, it's very challenging. A lot of students come from home, and when they have to live on campuses, they're facing a whole new chapter in their life. So that's a really major issue. But unfortunately, the balance is very opposite. There's nobody there looking after them, and it's not that they need somebody to look after them. The thing is that for students who are entering in first year, they often tend to lose that balance between social circle and their academic circle. So there needs to be a right amount of balance. Finally, home and family plays another important role. When a student leaves their home or they're into an institute, the family structure at home tends to change. You might not have your son or daughter and most of the family get together, and parents need to be okay with that. They need to be able to understand that their kids also have different priorities. So family structure does change, and that could be an issue not only for the students, but also for the families. Overall, there are solutions for this, and the solutions have to start at a very early stage. Students have to be more active in high school with after-school activities, whether it's volunteering or working on projects with their professors or teachers. This allows them to break that barrier of communication, of that cultural barrier, and to be able to communicate more efficiently and to understand what is behind that after that they graduate. Because most of the information that they are going to gather, it's through communication. Secondly, they need to have a role model, and that role model does not have to be somebody from the family. It can be anybody, but they have to have role models either from the community or from the direction that they're heading towards. They need to be able to look forward. How did that one person contributed? How did that one person went up the ladder? What are some of the struggles that they had to face? What are some of the challenges that they also faced? So students need to come aware of that. How do they come aware of that? There are student help centers available. Sometimes we feel shy. Even till this day myself, I think about it twice before asking for help. I have this personality where I feel like I can do everything by myself, but sometimes that's not the solution for everything. So there are student help centers available. They're available in every institute. They're available outside of institutes. And when students feel that they're going down the ladder, there's something that is not right, they need to be able to address their problems and go to these help centers and ask the competent person to address these problems and maybe find a solution for them. And this needs to be addressed at a very early stage, not wait for the last moment. Overall, I think the solution is there, that last point, which is networking events. Students need to be involved more in these networking events. They need to be able to come out to organizations that have an agenda, that are doing something for the community overall or for the nation. They need to understand that this is where they're going to develop these role models, and they need to be able to understand how did these role models went about with their academics and with their careers. My first event, I remember, it was at Ryerson University. I attended a conference. It was a summit for Canadian Aeronautic and Space Institute, and that's what triggered me to do well in my academics. And I see this case in many of my colleagues who attended seminars in the past and who attended networking events where they see role models in their discipline. And that gives them that ambition, that energy to go back and tackle their assignments and tackle their projects and go above and beyond to what the expectation of that institute might be. So, thank you.
Hey folks, I'm here to endorse the Disability Network. They are great people. They're people that get by, they employ, they support, and they really, really get behind people with disabilities. So come on, let's throw our support behind a great cause, the Disability Network.
Our next speaker is Charanjot Bhatt. He's 14 years old. He's a grade 9 student at Richview Collegiate Institute. He's a young leader. He loves public speaking, especially raising his voice for social issues. And he has some well-presented thoughts. So, thank you.
Every child faces many problems during their childhood. One of those problems is bullying. Yes, we've all been there. I've been bullied myself since kindergarten to grade 2. A historical saying is, "Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me." Is it really true? I feel that it's not really true anymore, because yes, sticks and stones do hurt. Yes, punches hurt, but the scars that words can give you will last much longer in your heart than the scars you'll get on your body while in a fight. In a dictionary, a bully means a person who uses strength or influence to intimidate or harm those who are weaker. And remember, bullying is not like a thing that happens just once. It's a thing that happens repeatedly on a regular basis. Even the greats like Mahatma Gandhi and Martin Luther King Jr. have been bullied during their childhood as well as their adult years. And I'm pretty sure that most of the husbands sitting here have been bullied by their wives at some point too. And whether people might want to call bullying as harassment, abuse, meanness, or drama, it is always considered a serious matter that should be taken into action. Your sons or daughters could be bullied in many different ways. One of those ways is physical bullying. Yes, the 80s physical bullying, where punches, kicks, tripping, stealing, destroying property happens. This type of bullying is most commonly found in boys. Another type of bullying is verbal bullying. Verbal bullying is basically just using your language to offend other people, to insult others. Racism and all those other things fall into this place. Another one is social bullying, which involves gossip or any other action that causes mental or emotional or social harm. But the most serious and most dangerous type of bullying that we faced in the last decade is cyberbullying. Yes, cyberbullying. It is basically any type of bullying that happens on the internet. Parents, just to give you an idea of the magnitude of this issue, just look back at your childhood. In those days, bullying was just limited to a person a group of people, maybe your class or your school, right? But now, with billions of people having access to the internet, we could be exposed in minutes, not even minutes, in seconds, to the whole entire globe. And this is the power of the internet that bullies use to expose us. And parents, I'll tell you right now, you can never compete with us on technology. How many of you are familiar and actively use Facebook? Could you please raise your hands? Exactly. It took your generation 5 years to understand what Facebook was. And we've been on it since day one. So, And now that you have finally learned how to use Facebook, we have been on another uncharted territory. How many of you have heard about Instagram, Kick, Ask, or even Twitter? You see, many of you don't even know what these online services are, and we are using them actively. This is why you can't keep up with us. And this brings a challenge for you, to find out what your children are doing and how they are feeling. Don't invade their privacy, don't get me wrong, but just try to be more, parent-like and find out what they're doing. Especially if you don't communicate with your children regularly. And if you don't, there are a few symptoms you could use to find out if your child is being bullied or not. One of those symptoms is withdrawal from family or school activities. They usually want to be left alone. They are shy, they have stomach aches, they have headaches, they have panic attacks, they're not able to sleep, or sometimes they sleep too much. They're usually exhausted, and they have nightmares. But don't get me wrong, sometimes I kind of use these symptoms too when I want to get out of studies, but that's a different story. But sometimes it could be the other way around, and your child may be the bully. And that is not something to be proud of, guys. Because studies show that a bully will sooner or later start to do drugs, they'll start to commit crimes, and they'll drop out of high school. Something we Indians do not like. And if you think your child may be a bully, here are some symptoms that you can find out. They usually lack empathy and they don't sympathize with others. They value aggression. They like to be in charge. They're an arrogant winner and a sore loser. They often fight with their brothers and sisters, and they're very impulsive. So I brought some solutions down to help everyone. For kids, first, don't be alone. Bullies tend to pick on people who are usually alone. If you do this, if you're alone, chances are you are going to get bullied. Another one is make like-minded friends. If you like soccer and FIFA, find friends who like soccer and FIFA, basically. So you guys will stay together, and a bully won't bother a certain group. He'll just bother a person who is alone. Another one is participate in school social activities. I'm pretty sure this school, many schools have activities where there's fun days where you get to meet people, you get to, understand, other people, and it's just a social activity. And if you have issues, you can always contact your school. Schools always have programs and seminars that you can attend that will help you through bullying. And if that still doesn't help, you can always come to your parents. They're your best friends, and they will always stand by your side. And parents, it is your job to make sure your child doesn't get bullied or doesn't end up a bully. While researching this topic, I found that one mother sent her bullied son to school with a toy gun. She's probably like, oh, if they bully you, show them this toy gun, they'll all be scared. No, don't take drastic measures like that. Always take it easy. Some ways you can help your child not be a bully or not get bullied is ask your children about their day. When you come home from a tiring day of work, ask your child, hey, did you encounter any problems today? Anything special happen? Because when you do this, you'll build a trust and a bond that can't be broken, and they'll tell you everything. Another one is encourage your child to help others. If your child sees someone else being bullied, tell your child to help that person, because if they were in that place, they would want someone to help them. And I'm pretty sure all of you know Russell Peters, right? Yeah, he has this famous saying that his dad used to say to him, hey Russell, somebody gonna get hurt, right? Yeah, well, that's kind of bullying your child. And if you bully your child, they're gonna start to be bullied at school because because all their self-confidence and all their self-esteem is gonna go low, or they're gonna start to bully someone else. So obviously, don't do that. And Ask FM. A lot of suicides have been linked with Ask FM. And you know what parents did? They actually made an online petition and sent it to Ask FM saying, hey, you need to hire more moderators because we obviously can't lose more kids. And it worked. So parents, if you know that your school doesn't have a program which allows, anti-bullying, which has an anti-bullying society, meet another parent, make one. It'll help you and the children at that school. And parents, something you do constantly is take away our phone when we're bullied or any other electronics. Don't do that. If you take away our phone and we're getting bullied, you're not stopping the bullying from happening. All you're doing is just like putting a wall over it that nothing will happen. And negative messages will be on their way, so it's not worth it. So I already listed the solutions, and let's all work together and make sure that we could stop this bullying era. Thank you.
Hey, folks, I'm here to endorse the Disability Network. They are great people. They're people that get by, they employ, they support, and they really, really get behind people with disabilities. So come on, let's throw our support behind a great cause, the Disability Network.
Okay, so our next speaker is Navneet Singh. I'll get to it at the event. Currently attending University at the University of Waterloo for life sciences, majoring in biomedical science. She aspires to go to dental school and become a dentist, and has finished her first year of medical school. So if you guys need a teeth examination, be sure to ask her. So come on in.
Hi everyone, I'm Navni and I just finished my first year at the University of Waterloo for life sciences as a biomed major. I'm here to talk to you guys about the transition from high school to university, well, more of my experiences. It can be a drastic change for a lot of students. I feel like one of the biggest shocks was going from knowing all my teachers and all my classmates at a personal level to going to a class of 500 students where I knew absolutely no one. It could be really scary to have that happen to you. In that case, I came to learn that you really have to put yourself out there. You can't just be hidden and just go to school, come back, study all the time. You have to go to these networking events, maybe go volunteer or join extracurricular activities and really get to know people with similar interests as yourself. And this is also a great opportunity to network and get to know other people, because in the future, if you do apply to grad school or any other kind of professional school, they're not just going to look at your academics, as a lot of parents think. They're going to look at more of a well-rounded student. So if you have more experiences as knowing other people, and if you have more experiences getting to put yourself out there and balancing different activities as well as your schoolwork. Also, when you get to university, there's not teachers hounding you down to finish your assignments, to get work done, and you don't have your parents telling you what to do, giving you curfews. You're pretty much on your own. And I know for a lot of kids, this sounds like a great opportunity, and this is a lot of freedom, and it sounds great and a lot of fun. But with more freedom comes more responsibility. You really have to manage your time between academics and social life. Don't get me wrong, don't just study all throughout university and don't get to know anyone else. You have to set some time for your friends, as well as enough time to succeed academically. Also, parents, make sure you don't just tell your kids to study all the time and scare them. You really have to let them go off on their own, get to know other people, and let them have a social life as well as an academic life. The key to this is staying organized, setting reminders for yourself, letting yourself know what time you're going to set for friends, what time you're going to set for school, and what time you're going to set for sleeping. Because, come on, sleep is also important. A lot of university kids forget that. Speaking from personal experiences, there was a lot of online quizzes that I missed, and these are easy marks. And if I had just stayed a little bit more organized, I feel like I could have gotten those through as well. So just stay organized. That's one of the keys to university. And as long as you're on top of everything, going to all your classes, making sure that you don't miss any classes and that you're not missing lectures and getting lost on the readings, you'll be good to go. And those are some of my personal experiences from university. I hope you guys all the best for your kids at university or even high school. Thank you.
ਜੀ ਹਾਂ ਪਿਆਰੇ ਦਰਸ਼ਕੋ, ਇਹ ਸੀ ਸਾਡਾ ਅੱਜ ਦਾ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਤੇ ਉਮੀਦ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸਾਡਾ ਅੱਜ ਦਾ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਪਸੰਦ ਆਇਆ ਹੋਵੇਗਾ। ਇਹ ਇਸ਼ੂ ਇੱਕ ਛੋਟਾ ਇਸ਼ੂ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਸਾਰੇ ਹੀ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਅਤੇ ਸਟੂਡੈਂਟਸ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਅਫੈਕਟ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਹਨ ਅਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਸੁਸਾਇਟੀ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਬਚਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਕਦੇ ਜੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਇਸ਼ੂਆਂ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਝਾਤ ਨਾ ਮਾਰੀਏ ਅਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸੁਲਝਾਉਣ ਦੀ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਨਾ ਕਰੀਏ। ਇਲੈਕਸ਼ਨਸ ਆ ਰਹੇ ਹਨ, ਮਿਊਨਿਸਪਲ ਇਲੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਆ ਰਹੇ ਹਨ। ਆਪਣੇ ਟਰਸਟੀਜ਼ ਨੂੰ, ਆਪਣੇ ਕੈਂਡੀਡੇਟਸ ਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਪੁੱਛੋ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਵੱਡੇ ਇਸ਼ੂ ਹਨ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਬਾਰੇ ਉਹ ਕੀ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਨ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਕੀ ਪਲੇਟਫਾਰਮ ਹਨ ਅਤੇ ਕਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਉਹ ਬੋਰਡ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਬਹਿ ਕੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਸਮੱਸਿਆਵਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਦੂਰ ਕਰਨ ਦੀ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕਰਨਗੇ। ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਹੈ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਇਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਸੁਸਾਇਟੀ ਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਵਧੀਆ ਸੁਸਾਇਟੀ ਬਣਾ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਜੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣਾ ਯੋਗਦਾਨ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਸਮੱਸਿਆ ਨੂੰ ਹੱਲ ਕਰਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਾਵਾਂਗੇ। ਅਗਲੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਤੱਕ ਅਵਤਾਰ ਸੂਦ ਨੂੰ ਇੱਥੇ ਇਜਾਜ਼ਤ ਦਿਓ। ਸਤਿ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ।